Alright guys, Homie Hector here. Welcome back to the channel. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to be taking care of this clear coat damage right here on the driver's side door and the damage over here on the driver's side rear door. So if you guys saw my last video, I showed you guys how I did the fender. And I went ahead and primed the fender. I sanded it down, I primed it, painted it, and then I put a layer of clear coat, and it turned out pretty well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sand this piece down right here, this upper quarter of the door. Right now what I'm going to do is outline my repair area. So I'm going to leave the doors exposed and I'm going to cover everything else. Alright, so I'm going to start off with some frog tape here. You can use blue painter's tape, but frog tape is what I prefer to use. It's all personal preference. I'm also going to be using masking paper to cover up the car, along with some 600 grit sandpaper. Now you just got to make sure that your sandpaper is suitable for wet and dry applications, and we can get to work. So all I'm going to do is focus on the top area of the door where the clear coat damage is at. You can see a bunch of little scratches on the left rear door also. We're going to make sure to sand those down so that we can get it ready for primer. Okay, now I'm really taking my time here, especially where the clear coat damage is at. I want to get everything nice and smooth, especially around this edge right here, so that when everything is said and done, this doesn't show through the paint. Okay, so I'm using 1000 grit sandpaper to scuff up the rest of the doors, and this is just making it a lot smoother, and it's prepping it for when I throw on a clear coat on there, the clear coat has something to grab onto. When I'm done sanding, I clean it with some trisodium phosphate and some water. You can find this at Home Depot in the paint aisle, or you can just check the link in the description so you can get all the products that I used in the video. After we're done here, we're going to dry it, and then we're going to hit it with a little tack cloth so that we can get any dust particles or anything that gets caught onto the panel right before we paint. Okay, I'm using Duplicolor's filler primer here, and this is going to help us filling all those little scratches on the top part of the doors, the ones that we created with the 600 grit and the ones that were already there prior to sanding. Yeah. Okay, time for some Duplicolor's Perfect Match. I picked this up from my local auto parts store. This is a B92P, which is a black pearl. It's supposed to be a perfect match to what's already on the car. Now I'm only going to be spraying the top half of the doors, so we're going to see how good it blends in with the bottom half. Alright, so I did 3 coats total, and then at the end I noticed that my spray can was running out, so I went ahead and did a quick dust coat over the panels just so we can get everything nice and smooth and I wouldn't get any blotchiness on the paint. After this, it was time for the 2K clear coat from Spray Max. This right here has a hardener right here on the bottom. There is a cap that you gotta push in there. Now if you can't push it in with your hands, that means that the hardener is still not activated, so you gotta push it against something hard. I'm doing it here on the door panel, and then once you hear that pop, you'll see that you'll be able to push it in with your finger. That means the hardener is in there. Time to shake it up and start spraying some clear coat. Okay, same technique here. Once the rattle can starts getting empty, I'm just doing a quick dust coat over the panel so that everything is nice and smooth. Now I know you can't see it here, you gotta let it settle for about 30 minutes. So 30 minutes later, you can see how it's nice and shiny. The reflection is not a mirror-like reflection, and that's because we have orange peel. So I'm gonna take a little section of the car. You can see right here on the top right corner of the screen, there is an American flag. I'm gonna take that section, I'm gonna wet sand it, compound it, so that I can show you some before and after, some side-by-side comparison, so that you can see how much better it looks after wet sanding and a little bit of compound. Let's go. Okay, so after about 3 passes with the 2000 Grit Sandpaper, we got the orange peel nice and smooth. So I'm going to be using some turtle wax rubbing compound, and I'm just going to put it on there and wipe it off. You might need to do this a couple times. You might need to do it 3-4 times depending on the compound that you're using. So after this, just wipe it off and take a look at your reflection and see if you need to keep going or not. Okay, so this is what it looks like after about 2.5 passes with the rubbing compound. I'm going to take the tape off, but you can clearly see the reflection really coming through. Here's a quick before shot. You can't really see the flag, and now look at it. You can start to see the flag coming through the paint. So here's a side-by-side comparison. It is a huge difference with a little bit of wet sanding and compound. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the door. Wet sand it with 2000 grit, and then I'm going to compound it, and then we're going to see the results at the end. Okay, now you can see that we're getting closer. You can still see a little bit of orange peel here as opposed to this side, which is getting a lot smoother. Now I'm using 2000 grit sandpaper. If you want to speed up the process, you can use 1500 or 1000 grit sandpaper, but I like to play it safe with 2000 because I don't want to burn through the clear coat. It's still fresh, it's less than a week old, so I'm going to keep going here, get it nice and smooth, and get it ready for some compound and polish. And the machine that I'm going to be using is the Torque X by the Chemical, guys. This is an entry-level machine. It's perfect for beginners. It's easy to use. I'm going to put a link down in the description so that you guys can check it out if you want to pick it up. You get 3 pads as well as some compound and polish samples by the Chemical, guys. So check it out. It's a great price. It's a good deal. Tell them the homie Hector sent you. Okay, so same thing as doing it by hand. You may have to do this 2 or 3 times to get the results that you want. So after your first pass, stand back, look at it. If you like the reflection, then you're done. If you don't like it, keep going with it until you get the results that you want. Here's a before shot. This is right after wet sanding. You can see there's no reflection. And here's a shot of the orange peel on the left and the wet sanding and buffing on the right. You can clearly see that wet sanding and buffing really brings out that mirror-like reflection. Now let's take a look at the flag. Remember the flag? Look at this reflection. It looks like a mirror reflection now. So let's take it outside and look at it in the sun. And check it out, guys. Here it is. This is the final result. This is the reflection that we got from rattle cans doing it at home. Now, is it a perfect match? Not today. It looks like the paint that I put on there is a little bit more blue than what the original paint color is. Now that might be because there's a little bit more pearl in the Duplicolor's perfect match, but it looks way better than before. There's no more clear coat damage. Here's a side by side of the colors so that you can take a closer look, but it blended in pretty nice. The clear coat damage is gone, the scratches are gone. Here's a quick before shot. You can see how bad the paint was, and all we did was take a little bit of rattle cans, take a little bit of elbow grease, mix them together, and these are the results that we got. And the best thing is you can do this at home without breaking the bank. Check out these results, guys, before and after. Look at the shine that we got from rattle cans, a little bit of wet sanding, a little bit of compound. The results speak for themselves, guys. So if you guys want to try this at home, don't forget to tag me on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram right here, homie Hector. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out, guys.